There it is. Good morning, everyone. And I couldn't even find my microphone, and it's on me. Well, great new year. John Miley and Dan Roth, let's give them another round of applause. They'll have some more music here in just a bit. And we are wishing everyone that's watching live and here in person just the best new year ever. And good morning. Unity always opens with prayer. And we close, well, we usually open with prayer and close with prayer because I was already jabbering. So let's take a moment and just center, taking some breaths and holding them in that space that we create for ourselves, for our consciousness, for our well-being, where we know and recognize the infinity of spirit within us, that divinity, that knowingness, that blessedness that is God, divine, holy all, whatever your name for the divine is. And as we breathe and hold the breath as long as we're comfortable and let go, we give thanks. So much gratitude for so much beauty and wonder and delight in our lives. So much gratitude for our ability to live consciously in this world, to be able to appreciate the large and small wonders, to be able to listen and hear beautiful music like we are provided this morning, to be able to go out and interact with others in the world, knowing beyond knowing that things really are always working out for us and that all is truly well. I'm guessing there's something on your heart or on your mind that you are especially grateful for today, something that makes you smile or laugh or sing or jump up and down or perhaps just say, ah. If you focus on those things, it is our belief that even more good flows into your life, or that you create that essence of good. So for just a second or two, think on those things. Something that makes you smile, that delights you, that warms your heart, and expands your mind to even more good. We are grateful for being able to gather today together in person with this wonderful energy here at Unity Athens and online. And we say or think or feel or be conscious of that gratitude. Thank you, Infinite Spirit. And so it is. So it is. Happy New Year. Yay, New Year. Happy New Year. Yay. Wonderful to hear Reverend Mary Covington's voice just filling our space with so much joy and beauty. She is a retired, if we ever retire. No, we don't. What's the word for it then, Mary? Continuing. Yes, continuing education, Unity Minister from Flint, Michigan, here as a beautiful snowbird enjoying our wonderful weather, except for Christmas. And I heard it was 10 degrees when I was in New Mexico. We are going to start today with the reading of the Daily Word by Mary Connor, who is also our prayer chaplain on duty today. So after the service, if you would like a prayer, just go up to Mary and say, "Hi, Mary, would you pray with me?" And she will say, "Sure, of course I will." And you can go in a quiet place and pray together. Following Mary's reading of the Daily Word, we're going to have a Unity Nugget message from Mary Covington, Reverend Mary. So let's begin with Mary Connor. This should be on.
Good morning, Unity Athens. Happy to be here and to see smiling faces, old faces I haven't seen in a while, and new faces that I'm excited to see again. So here we are. So today our word is freedom. The divine presence within guides me to freedom. At times I may feel hemmed in by circumstances, limited by lack of opportunity, or faced with an unwelcome situation and no good choice. When that happens, I may feel anything but free. Rather than despair, I find my freedom in God and the limitless expression of my divinity. Shifting my perspective from the limits of the world to the expansion and perfection of spirit, peace fills me. I relax and remember that no earthly trouble is greater or more enduring than God. I claim the power of God and feel a strength beyond mere human strength. As moment by moment, I release limiting beliefs and reclaim the power I had given to my problems. Spirit lives in me and as me. This truth is my freedom. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. 2 Corinthians.
Thank you so much, Mary Connor and Reverend Mary Covington. Let's give Mary a round of applause. She came here all the way from Michigan to be with us, and her daughter and some friends.
Thank you. I call myself getting out of Michigan ahead of the weather, you know. Except that we had to pause on the tarmac and get de-iced. And the little boy who was about 4 years old, was sitting at the window, and he said, "What's all of that sand they're spraying on the plane?" I had to explain to him, that's called de-icing, honey, so we can get in the air. So I had a beautiful time coming out of lovely Michigan, 3-season Michigan, down here to Georgia. And I'm enjoying myself, of course. But this morning, for a few moments in time, I want to share some nuggets with you from my beloved Unity. Unity meaning oneness. Founded by Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore. Actually, I said Myrtle founded it and Charles joined in when he found out, ooh, this is a good thing and it's working. But I was in the Unity Village ministerial program at the time that they dedicated the new Silent Unity Prayer Building. It's an awesome architectural add-on. The guest speaker that morning was our poet laureate, James Dillard Freeman. And off-site, he looked like a little slight guy with a lot of white hair, which he combed to the front. We know why. And so he was standing there in awesome splendor that morning, talking about his experiences in Unity, and he's writing the poetry. And the wind came along and lifted all of this white hair back so that it looked like a perfect halo standing around him. And I remember his comment at that point about my beloved Unity. He said, in effect, that he'd worked there for many years because his first and his second wife were writers for Unity. When you write into Silent Unity and you get those awesome response letters. But even though working there, nobody had ever asked him to join. Now, coming from another denomination originally, I knew about that joining process. It's a big thing. And I looked at this junior standing there and I thought, nobody ever asked you? Well, I'll not make that mistake in my ministry. And so I want to say to you this morning who are listening and watching us from wherever, if Spirit has moved through you to become a part of this Unity movement, especially this one, Unity of Athens, Georgia, write us. Write Reverend Bronte and tell of your experience and of your desire to become a part here. And know that somebody asked you to join.
Thank you so very much, Reverend Mary. And yes, please consider joining Unity Athens if you haven't already. And for people watching online, you can email us at unityathens@gmail.com. We'll get the information to you, and you can make a decision from there. I think we've all picked up this faith flyer, and we can read this together if you'd like. Now, Unity has 12 powers that they talk about, 12 spiritual gifts that are innate in you, that are given to you. And they have one for each month. I also learned about this when I was going through my first ministerial track at Hillside in Atlanta under the Dr. Bishop Barbara King. But the faculty, the gift, the spiritual gift in January is faith. So if you'd like, we can read this together. And would you guys like one, or you just want to? Okay, let me get you both one. Thanks. Grab another one. That one's blank. That must be magical. Wow. It was like maybe disappearing ink or something, and here is to wonderful Dan. I know, it just transformed itself. So think about this if you choose to read it out loud, or you can read it silently, because you do have this faculty in you, and it's based or connected to the disciple Peter, which I think is so appropriate, because Peter showed his faith by being afraid sometimes. Remember walking on the water and seeing Jesus walk across the waves to the boat, if you're into biblical stories. And then what happened? Stop looking at the light, the consciousness, and that's when you start to sink sometimes. So today, I honor my faculty of faith, whether it is as small as a mustard seed or as large as a mountain. Faith is the energy that carries me forward. It opens my heart to knowing that I am worthy of all good things, including more love. You might want to pause a moment and saying to yourself, I am worthy of even more love. When events around me seem overwhelming, when worry and doubt darken the landscape of my mind, I call forth faith. In prayer, I affirm that faith will see me through. In meditation, I picture a reservoir of faith that I easily draw from. Faith fills me with trust and confidence. It lightens my load. Faith expands my awareness, to recognize the presence of Spirit in every person, place and circumstance. It reminds me to trust in my abilities and believe in myself, knowing I am ever supported by the divine. Faith uplifts my thoughts and words to create a brighter picture. It reminds me to be open to divine guidance, intuitive knowing, and spiritual nudges. It aids me in knowing that from a divine perspective, not the worldly perspective, not the wake up every day perspective, but from the divine perspective, not the news perspective, not the complaints we hear or things going on in the world or things that aren't working out perspective. From the divine perspective, all is truly well. There's an affirmation on here. I'm going to say it once for the folks that don't have this in front of them that are watching on the live stream. Walking in faith, my steps are sure. My steps are sure. Divine guidance is clear, and my path is illuminated. And so it is. And we do have some announcements. Yay, announcements, and they disappeared, so that might be an interesting thing. Yay, they disappeared. Is that for yay, they disappeared, or is that for announcements? So we'll see how good I can do on the top of my head. We've had a burning bowl, and we've had a white stone ceremony, both on New Year's Eve, that's Saturday, and on Sunday, and we also did it Wednesday for meditation. The next 2 Wednesdays, from 1 to 2, we will be here for meditation. We're expanding it just for January. So if you'd like to do a burning bowl or white stone, you can do it on those 2 Wednesdays. So make a note of that. And if you are at home and you would like a white stone sent to you, we're happy to do that. We cannot send the flash paper through the mail because, yes, if some postal carrier happens to be near a match, everything could go up. And it's really been fun watching this kind of aged flash paper. I've had it a few years. It was in the freezer, dried out a little too much, but it's poof in the bowl. So consider coming in the next 2 Wednesdays. You can do both of them if you want, from 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock right here for that. Also, Peggy Olson is doing an early morning book group, and she's just now planning how to do it going forward, which I think it's Tuesday and Thursday. No, Thursday, 2 Thursdays. Right, Mary? Thank you. And it's early, 6:30 to 7:30. So if you want details on that, you need to email Peggy, whose info is in the newsletter, or you can email us at unityathens@gmail.com. And I'm sure there's another announcement or two, but I will find those because we're going to have another selection of music from John Miley and Dan Roth. Pardon? Thank you, Mary. This is going to be a Zoom meeting, so she can do it. You can have coffee, you can be in your PJs or whatever while you talk about spiritual things. Oh, yes, thank you, Kevin. Kevin is pointing to the screen. Next Sunday, here in Athens at Ebenezer Baptist Church West, which is at 205 North Chase Street, we have the annual ecumenical service honoring the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We've got wonderful guest speakers, and that is at 4 o'clock next Sunday at Ebenezer Baptist Church. I'll be doing the invocation. It's also sponsored by the Interfaith group here in Athens. So we'll turn it over to music. Yay! Let's give Dan and John another round of applause, please. We're going to have meditation incorporated into the message today and after that. So this book, The 5 Principles, A Guide to Practical Spirituality, is written by Reverend Ellen Davenport, who is Vice President of Publishing up at Unity Worldwide Headquarters. It's a wonderful book, and we use it for, as Mary mentioned, if you want to become a new member or an old member, we have a class on this, because it talks about not the 12 powers, but the 5 principles of unity. I highly recommend this book if you just want to read it to learn more about unity teachings, because she goes in depth in so many different ways, like if God is all good and everywhere present, which is principle number 1, how can all this stuff happen in the world, and how can you say that's good? Well, there's more things involved in that, and I'll go into that a bit. So, as I just said, principle 1 is it's one God, it's all good and everywhere present. Many different names for that. And we don't tell people in unity how to think of God, direct to God, call God, everywhere present and all good. And the second one that we're going to cover today too is that there's this incredible spark of divinity within each and every one of us. Human beings have a spark of divinity within them, the Christ spirit, if you wish to call it that, within. This very essence is of God, and therefore they are also inherently good. Then number 3, a little quicker on these, there's a longer explanation in the book. Number 3 is thinking and creating through our thoughts. We're co-creating with God. What we think about has an influence in our life. Some even teach that what we think about is definitely what shows up in our life. Number 4 is prayer and meditation, our powerful tools where we communicate with God, co-communicate, communing with God. Powerful tools again. And number 5, to live the truth you know, is expressing God. I've been doing some decluttering. It's a January thing with me. Maybe it is. How many of you love to declutter in January? Is it like, apparently I am not alone. Okay. Dan says, is it Southern custom? Okay. Well, I must have inherited that when I moved south about 20 years ago. Apparently it's very popular around here because I had these big bags, and I got some bags I'm going to take to Project Safe next door this week too. But I took them to Goodwill, and I pulled up, and I actually took a photo of it. I can show you after the service. The entire sidewalk at the loading bank, the loading area, was completely full of things. I mean, it was like a half of a city block. That's a slight exaggeration, but there were an awful lot of things out there. So it's a decluttering thing for me. But what else can we declutter? What can we cleanse from our thinking, from our experiences? Our schedules. Can you declutter your schedule a bit? It doesn't mean like wipe everything out, but look at what's important. What do you want to release, like we do with the burning bowl? Our surroundings, background things, noise in our lives. Pardon? Acquaintances. Thank you, Reverend Mary. Anybody else have a thing they want to throw in here? Please speak up. Screen time. It's just with my grandkiddos, and it's very important with kids are young not to be spending too much time on screens. And then I thought, how much time am I spending scrolling on my phone every day, you know? Busy brains, can you declutter that some? Is your brain going do, and can you slow it down and focus on what you do want? We invite the recognition, because it's always there, the recognition of our oneness with the divine. So, one word, God, everywhere present, in us, as us. And it comes up in the book, and it comes up when we talk and teach these things. Well, you know, if God's in everyone, what about all the bad stuff in the world? What about this bad actor or that character or that person committing crimes. How can God be in them? Ellen mentions the word in Aramaic, bisha, B-I-S-H-A, which is often translated as evil in our language. That it's, in the Aramaic understanding, unripe, rather than sinful, evil, doing awful things, unripe. We are not all ripe in consciousness, and I think even if we are ripe and right in consciousness, that it still falls back sometimes, that we still do things that are inappropriate, that we are in this soup. So when bad things happen to good people, we're in this soup. And some people are still learning their way, or some people, like I thought when I was a wee little girl, and I went to our Methodist church, and I was taught about sin and evil and hell, and I argued with my parents. I think they were a bit aghast. They didn't know where I was getting these ideas from, that how can there be a hell, and why would a God throw people there? And what if someone was brought up with pain and suffering, or had been hurt so much themselves, I didn't even understand the concept of mental health issues. How could they be thrown into a hell for doing something wrong if everything isn't considered? And yet, we as humans, I think, and I know myself I have done, judge people. How could that person do this or that? And the news gives us plenty of opportunities to look at people only from their bad sides. So something to think about next time we get into judgmental mode. God is all good and everywhere present. Everywhere present. And I think as we look for it, and we continue to look for it, we will see it. And anyway, what are we doing trying to fix anyone else's lives when we can continually tweak ourselves to be better, to be good, to be honest, to be kind, to overact, to confront and to change some of the bad things we see in the world. The second point which she talks about is the second principle, which is we all have that spark of good within us. It's one thing to say, oh, God is good and everywhere present, and it's all wonderful, and then it's another thing to say, well, everyone has this. When Reverend Dr. Ralph Warnock won the election here in Georgia, Raphael, sorry, Raphael. I didn't get a chance to meet him. He was here numerous times, always was like on a Sunday at some church. I'm like, oh my God, he was here. What a powerful man. And on his acceptance speech, he brought that up, and I thought, oh, even though he's a Baptist minister in Atlanta, he mentioned, and not that Baptist ministers don't say that doesn't sound right, but he mentioned that divinity, that spark of divinity is in each and every one of us. And I thought that was beautiful, coming from a politician especially. Do we see that? Are we seeing that? Are we looking for that? And perhaps someone in your past continues to bother you. You can't forgive, or you wonder why they express as they do. Or someone did something to you, or perhaps you look at yourself that way. Why did I do this or that? Why did I hurt so-and-so? Why was I mean? Or why did I not tell the truth? Why didn't I try harder to forgive? So it's also seeing that spark of divinity within us when we go through these experiences. And as we do that, I believe that this God essence, everywhere present, all good, will continue to gift us with things that light us up. Do you ask, Spirit? I try to every day to surprise and delight me, to make me not miss the things that are out there that are so wonderful and are going to light me up and are going to make me feel good and are going to just thank the universe for having me be part of it. It can be everything from a flower poking up through some weeds to a loving kindness given from one person to another, to an opportunity that just seemed to come out of nowhere. I know our musicians were talking this morning, and it's just always wonderful just to say, hey, this happened and that happened. Life, I believe, wants to light us up. But often our eyes are closed. And we don't see it, or we're so focused on what doesn't light us up that we don't see what's over here, just so eager and willing to light us up. Ellen Davenport says that sometimes we can't see the big picture when things go awry, when things go bad, when wars or illnesses or transitions happen. We can't see the good in it. It's really difficult, even with the war that's going on currently between Russia and Ukraine. What is the good in that? So many people getting killed, transitioning. But there's a bigger picture in that too. I don't know what it is, but I do pray for both sides. And I do continually hope that things can work out for the better. Maybe we learn something bigger from this, and what that bigger thing is, I truly do not know. But what am I focusing on? Am I focusing on the people that are coming in and feeding the hungry, the people that are helping each other, or do I focus on the destruction? What are you focusing on in your life that you can switch from into something bigger and brighter and more amazing? Maybe something pops up right away. Maybe something you deal with every day and it keeps coming up and you write it down on your list of things to let go of. You throw it in the burning bowl and it's there again tomorrow, like a little burning bowl piece of paper that turns back into the piece of paper that you wrote the thing down on. And you go, there it is again in my brain. Pause with it, perhaps. Pray with it. However you choose to pray. Unity has ways of praying, but we don't tell you that's the only way. And try, once again, to let it go. Maybe throwing it in the ocean. We tell people you don't have to use a burning bowl. You can take your list of things you want to release, let go of. Not writing someone's name on there and throwing in the burning bowl. But, your reaction to that person. Cut it into little pieces if you want. Crumple it up. Toss it in the trash, bury it in the yard, okay? And if it shows up again, do it again. We're going to do a meditation from Ellen's book on principle number 2, which she calls, you are God. So she gets right to the core. Now you have this divine spark within you, and it's just there, and it's part of God, and God is good and everywhere present. She says all of that. She said, you are God. And we use the name God here, if you're watching at home or for the first time. Some people over the years have said to me, Bronte, you say God too much. You talk about God too much. And then someone else will come and say, Bronte, you don't talk about God enough. So it's all exactly what you want, okay? Use another name, the divine, the holy I am, my sense of the power of love, whatever it is. And Mary, yes, thank you. We will turn the lights down. Unity is an experiential type of teaching. And we are refocusing on that as a teaching across the globe to really experience meditation, the presence, your own well-being, healing. It started out, as Reverend Mary Covington was saying, as a healing. Myrtle was healing from her own tuberculosis that they said would cause her passing. She moved through it. It's a healing teaching, but most of all, it's a thought, a way of controlling and aligning our thoughts with the most divine part of us. So we won't have music with this. We're just going to go into the quiet as I read and have some quiet moments afterwards. Principle 2, meditation. As I turn within, I retreat from outer awareness and enter my soul, the divine in me. It is here that I know my connection to spirit. Deep within, I find the peace that passes understanding. Deep within, I find the peace that passes all understanding. Deep within, I find the knowledge of all things and the awareness of absolute good. We go deeper and we go deeper. It's a safe space. We go deeper. Deep within, I touch the gifts that are God, Spirit, Divine Holy All, Love. I'm going to repeat that. Deep within, I touch the gifts that are God. Maybe feel that energy. Maybe put your hand on your heart chakra. Feel that, the gifts that are God. Understanding or healing, peace, loving kindness, prosperity, awe and wonder. Deep within, it is here that I receive wisdom and guidance. I receive wisdom and guidance. Feel that. Deep within, I know truth and understanding. Deep within, I know that I am strengthened and comforted. Feel the energy of that. Breathe it in. Know it. Deep within. Deep within. Deep within. This is the divine essence that I am. Deep within. The divine essence that you are. The love. The well-being. The wholeness. The kindness. The strength. The faith. The love. The divine essence that you are. The core of me, of you, is God, divinity, star stuff. And from the God within me, from the God within you, you can do anything. You can do anything. You can do anything. Breathe on that for a quiet moment. Deep within. Deep, deep within. Hold that as the truth of your being. You are divinely made. You are stardust. You are love. You have so many gifts to give this world. And you have given so many already. You make a difference. You glow. You touch lives you never realized you have touched. You've created good in this world. You are so worthy. So very, very worthy. And so it is. Good deep breath. And know that you can do that type of meditation pretty much anywhere. Maybe not driving your car as you pull over. Or you keep your eyes open and just know it. Take pauses in your day to remember that you are a light walking in this world. And thank you for going deep with me. We're going to have some more music in just a moment. We wanted to also one announcement I forgot, the letters to, we used to call them letters to God, where at the beginning of every year we'd write down what God we'd like to see God give us, and we call it Vision 2023 now, or Manifesting 2023. There's some paper for letters on the back table, and a special shiny box that we put them in. So you write what you'd like to see in the year ahead, and you can do this at home, and you can bring it in or mail it in if you're watching from far away or close. Write down what you'd like to see. You can be general and big, you can be specific, and you seal it up in an envelope. We don't ever read them, and you put your name and address on it, and you give it to us. You don't need to stamp it, and then we mail them to you at the end of the year. And I believe they got a little late this year. Betty's nodding her head. Did they get there? Okay, so yes, I was mailing them from Albuquerque. It's like, oh my goodness, got to get them in the mail. But it's a fun thing, and it's really wonderful. Then you get them just before New Year's, and where on New Year's you can sit with it and look at the things you wanted to manifest in the year. And sometimes they're things that you don't care about anymore. And sometimes you go, people told me, oh my gosh, it's on my letter and it showed up and I kind of forgot I wanted it, and there it was. So it's fun. That's on the back table. I'd also like to thank everyone that responded so beautifully to our letter that we sent out requesting hopefully some additional funding for Unity Athens. We got a very nice response and hope that will continue through January if you're able to make an extra gift or to donate, or just hold us in prayer as we continue this journey of coming back. And I think that's what we're doing now. So the wonderful gentlemen, John and Dan, are going to play some music, and we have our sacred exchange basket. I'm going to put my gift in there, and we can pass it around. Thank you, Mary. That is Dan on keyboards. He has lots of music venues going on now, doing a lot of weddings. Is that right?
I lead an event band out of Atlanta called the Great Grand Finale, and we just finished 18 weeks in a row of Saturday performances around the Southeast. So
wow.
Restful period this past couple of weeks.
The Great Grand Finale? That's awesome. And John's been traveling and doing a lot of things over the summer. Anything special going on right now?
No, I tour with Cosmic Charlie.
Cosmic Charlie.
We had our last show of the year was Georgia Theater, so we go again next week out and around.
Awesome. They do.
Yes, I do. I have some. I didn't put them out, but I
Yes, and we've got some in a little green box on that back table. There's one or two there, but if you have some too, that would be great. Yes, support them. And there's also available on Spotify or one of those. Is it available online?
On Spotify.
Or what?
Miley, Roth.
Okay, but we got the CDs, and that you can play in your car and at home. Awesome. I'm going to get our sacred exchange basket, and we'll pass it around and bless it when we are all done. Thank you, Lee. Thank you so much for being with us today. We're going to bless our sacred exchange. I'm going over here with the energy of Reverend Mary and our prayer chaplain, Mary. So I got just blessing this and thanking God for all the energy and love and light that flows into Unity Athens. We're so grateful for this beautiful space, for all the it's like trying to play with that word the other day. Anyway, for everything in this building and for all the love and joy in this teaching. We hold our hands over our heart and we say, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, your name for the divine, infinite spirit, divine, holy, all that is. And we see this abundance and prosperity coming back to you, multiplied so very abundantly. We have some coffee and snacks and grapes and cookies and crackers and cheese on the back table. So please stay and chat and, send some holiday blessings to each other and wish a happy new year to all. We are so grateful. We have our closing prayer. If you want to put that up, Kevin. Again, this is by James Dillett Freeman that Reverend Mary was talking about. Some people put the all is well at the end of it, but however it works for you. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. I want to thank everyone that's watching online. Blessings to you. And again, check our newsletter, our e-newsletter. You can find that through email, unityathens@gmail.com, and sometimes post it on the Facebook page. Love and blessings. A little more music from the guys as we close out, and let's give them one more warm round of applause.